please let us make sure that we can ask questions, answer questions, anything that you ask us or what have you, again, it will help the community. So please do not hesitate in asking a question. We want to make sure to get your questions answered effectively and swiftly. We also want to make sure that if in fact you have a question that we cannot answer, we will get back to you and make sure that we can get that question answered from a technical side before we move forward, okay? We want everybody to feel very comfortable using the 7.3 upgrade. So now, we are right at 2 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get started. Give us a few minutes here as we just adjust our screens and make sure that you can see the full presentation. Alrighty. So, first things first, let me introduce myself. I am Saida Penn, and I am here with Morgan, who happens to be our functional SME, as well as our CompuSearch functional consultant. So she is the one that is responsible for PRISM, so we're going to blame her for anything from this point forward.
Awesome.
Just joke.
Great to hear.
So we're both here. I do apologize that her name isn't on this presentation. I updated it earlier, and it didn't seem to save my changes. So just want to run right into the presentation. We're a fun group this afternoon after lunch. We don't want anybody falling asleep. So, of course, we might be a little fast. Let me know if you need me to slow down. Let me know if you didn't hear anything properly. Let me know if you need us to go over anything else, and we will make sure to do that. So, thanks for joining the PRISM 7.3 Upgrade Training course via WebEx. We do realize several of you had some WebEx issues, so I am so glad that we were able to work those out. This training is specifically designed to review PRISM 7.3 as an upgrade, okay? If you all require additional PRISM training, we ask that you attend OALM-sponsored PRISM training courses for a full overview of PRISM as a system. I do want to stress that because I think that we've had some participants who expected us to kind of go through PRISM as a whole, not just the upgrade features, et cetera. So just do want to keep that in mind. We will launch 7.3 next week when NBS system comes back up for the online community. During this session, we will switch between the presentation and a live demonstration of the PRISM system. You are receiving CLP credits for this session, so we will capture all of the attendees from this session and make sure that that information gets reported with the appropriate hours. At the end of the session, you will receive an email with the survey. We thoroughly encourage you guys to take the survey. It is going to help us on a number of different things. The information, just so you know how important it is, we report the feedback from the surveys and the training to our business owners. That will help us to ensure, to make sure that training is what it needs to be. We've gotten a lot of feedback about what training should be and what we are mandated to do based on this training. That feedback is so important because the business owners need to know that this is how the community feels. We will make that recommendation on your behalf as a result of that. So please take the survey. Let's get started. So for today's training, we're going to cover the 7.3 upgrade overview. We're going to cover the upgrade features, the system updates, the system defects. We're going to run through the training support documents. We're going to open the line for additional questions, and we will go through next steps. Before we move forward, for each one of these areas, when we start talking features, updates, and defects, as well as the training support documents, we will pause between them and make sure that we open the line for questions. We will also ask that at any time that you have a question, you chat your question in, and we will go back and address it. If we have to double back into the presentation, we don't mind doing so. Again, our job here is to make sure that we answer your questions. So let's go through the PRISM 7.3 upgrade overview. So, PRISM 7.3 upgrade is a technical system upgrade designed to ensure that NIH is compliant with FAR by incorporating the UPID mandated by Data Act of 2014. What that means to you guys, so we're not all technical speak here. Basically, it was a technical upgrade. It is like to like. You guys will see some of the very same things that you saw in 7.2. There are some updated features that we will go over in this session, and we also have them on the training materials. But this is not a look and feel and things being moved around to whereby you guys need to have any angst about what it is that you're going to see in the system. This particular upgrade is designed to ensure that we're federal compliant, to address the NIH-identified bug fixes, and to enhance the system performance. That is it. So before we move forward, and you guys will see when we go into PRISM for the live demonstration exactly what to expect. So let's talk about the upgrade features. For this training, we will focus on two major features. One is the data reporting. Two is PIN documents. So the Data Act reporting includes a mandatory field that signifies if the award is a service labor contract that needs to be reported to FPDS-NG. Once that field is marked yes, it will trigger PRISM to send the Data Act information for that specific award. The field needs to be completed on all new base and all modification actions in PRISM, basically on every award type. That field will either be a yes or a no, and we will show you that in a few seconds so that you can see. Number two is the PIN documents. So now PRISM has on its home page, it features a push pin icon. The icon is designed to allow you to pin documents for easy document accessibility in the recent document widget. This is a useful tool when you are consistently working with certain documents. Basically, it helps you to access them quickly and easily from the home page. The only caveat here to mention is that it will not illustrate an update of in-progress or released documents. In order for the PIN feature in PRISM to access the document versions, you will have to unpin the document, access the latest version, and repin it to the home page. Now we're going to go into PRISM so that you can actually see the specifics, and Morgan's going to take over from here.
Okay, so now moving into PRISM. I am going to first cover the Data Act field. So I'm going to go into this contract right now that I've created and I've pinned. So just waiting for PRISM to load. Okay, going into the general description of requirement 6M tab. Going to scroll down. So this is the field that we added for the Data Act. So it's service labor contract to be reported for the Data Act reporting. So you can click or you can type in Y for yes or N for no, or you can search for that. So I'm just going to click search. And for this one, let's say it is not a service labor contract. So how you decide on the service labor contract, it's based off of what the current business requirements you have. So this is just a PRISM only field so that PRISM itself knows when to send the data. This is just confirming everything. At any point in time, if you mistyped or misselect a value here, you can type in yes or Y for yes or an N for no, or you can search. So this field is required and can be changed anytime you need it to be. Okay, going back to the home page to show you the PIN documents. So you see here, this PIN document, you can click this push pin and it becomes a PIN document. So you have to do that right now with this contract that we have. So here you see that this document became a PIN document, and it will reside up here in the top portion of the recent document widget. At any point in time that you no longer need this document or you don't want it up here at the top of the recent documents widget, you can just unpin it and it falls back into the queue of the recent documents. Something else I forgot to mention before, I'll go back into this contract. So this field right here is the same and is seen on every award type. Sorry about that, I did not mention that before. So service labor contract to be reported to the Data Act reporting. Once again, this is on all award types. So going back home and back into the presentation.
So now we'll open the floor for questions. Again, remember that your chat feature is located up top, and you can chat in your question here. Before we flip back into the presentation and talk about our next item, we want to make sure that we've answered your questions and whether or not you guys have any questions. Okay, it doesn't appear as though you guys have questions, so we will move on. Again, if you do have a question, don't hesitate to type them into the chat feature, and we will make sure to stop and answer your question. So now we're going to go into PRISM Upgrade System Updates. So we're going to focus on 3 system updates for this training course. We're going to discuss the UPID auto numbering mask, the contract auto numbering mask, and the validation. Let's go through the definitions first. So the UPID auto numbering mask, to comply with federal regulations and federal reporting requirements, the auto numbering masks have been updated to the UPID and PRISM 7.3. Each IC will have a unique auto numbering mask, as was the business practice in PRISM 7.2. The auto numbering mask will be selected based on the issuing office. Now let's discuss contract auto numbering masks. In PRISM 7.3 upgrade, the UPID selection features 2 contract auto numbering masks. One is IDIQ, and 2 is standalone contracts. And we will illustrate this so that you can see. Let's discuss validation. The PRISM 7.3 upgrade separates the Oracle validations from the PRISM validation. This update is designed to help you all within the community avoid errors and or disapproved documents from Oracle after the documents are sent for financial approval. This feature will decrease the validation processing time. In order to progress from the PRISM validations to the Oracle validations, a hyperlink has been added that states, click here to continue to Oracle validation. We're now going to go into PRISM and show you what each one of these features entails.
Okay, so to cover the UPID auto numbering mask, I'm going to create a purchase order from new. So going to click in here, click create. Because we're in my world and I just want to make life a little easier, I'm going to create from new right now. Here you'll see a site and issuing office. This is new to the create page. So here site will auto-populate from your site, and the issuing office code you will either select from a list or you can type in. So to make life easier, I'm going to type it in. So here I'm going to do issuing office NIA. So here. Next, from the purchase order auto number mask, I'm going to select NIA. So here you're going to see a lot larger list of sites or auto numbering masks that you will otherwise see because we are currently in the system as a system admin. So I'm going to select NIA purchase order because it matches the issuing office. Going to click next. So just like before, the purchase order will have a code up here that is auto-created from the mask, and here as well. So these are each unique within the system. So I can break down what this is. So the first digits right here, these are the UPID, or UPID is right, or not, excuse me, this is the UPID number, but this is the AAC code. Then you have the fiscal year. In the system we are currently in, it's still technically fiscal year 18, but once it comes up online, it will be fiscal year 19. P is for purchase order, and then of course at the end, that is how the document number within the system itself. Okay, going to go home, and now I'm going to create a contract from new. So going to go in here, select contract. This time I'm going to create a IDIQ contract. So going to then type in NIA for the issuing office. Going to then, once again, this list is longer because we are in as a system admin. Going to go to NIA IDIQ contract. Going to select that. Then from the drop down, just like before in 7.2, I'm going to pick IDIQ contract. That allows for delivery task orders. Going to click next. And then once again, the UPID is generated for the IDIQ contract. And finally, I'm going to cover validations. So I'm going to go into this pre-created IDIQ contract right here, or where is that? Right here. So here I already created the contract and also filled out all the information. Let me just go in and check the line items. Excuse me 1 second. Let's go in here. Just realized I need to do one more action in here. I'm going to go funding, and because this is an IDIQ, I'm going to have funding on the delivery task order. So going to go back to the header level, going to click validate. So these validations are the same that are seen when you click validate or when you do route for options or route to a fellow user to approve. So going to validate. This contract has no PRISM validation, so you'll be able to move on to Oracle validations. So here you'll see total number of errors, 0. If there are, so this is considered the PRISM validations. If there are any PRISM errors, you will not be able to continue onto Oracle. But if there are PRISM warnings, you will be able to. But based off of your business practice, you'll be able to either continue on or you will need to fix all of the warnings. So now, because I have no PRISM errors, I'm going to continue on to, or going to click here to continue to Oracle validations. So here you'll see one validation error because we are not a user within Oracle.
No, she's saying that I'm not a user in Oracle. So you'll see my name pop up. I do apologize.
So because you will all be users within Oracle and PRISM, you'll not see this. But this is the portion of the prompt of the validations that you will see Oracle errors in. So this will once again help you cut down on time and make sure that your documents aren't disapproved in Oracle. So here I can either click close or return to PRISM validations. So to move on, I'm going to just click close.
So now at this time, I just want to make sure that, again, we want to make sure that we are answering your questions. So please go to the chat feature and type in your questions and let us know if there's anything that we discussed within the PRISM features that we just overviewed, if you have any questions. And we're going to open the chat area just so that we can make sure that we get your questions. We will proceed momentarily, but we do want to make sure that we are addressing. Okay, so Christine, when something is pinned, does it need to be unpinned to process?
No, it does not. So anytime that you pin a document, the documents will act just as normal, but say you pin a document when you created the original base. So you pin the base. So the base is up there, but then on that document you go in and you create a mod. So the pinned document will still just show the base document or the base version because you pinned it on that version. If you would like to be able just to click in on, say, the mod version or P1, P2, whatever number, mod number you're on, you would have to unpin and then pin it again. But if you just want to have easy access to the document itself and you don't mind whatever version you are entering into, you can just keep it pinned and then unpin it when you no longer want to have that document in your recent document widget.
Christine, did we answer your question? Please type in yes or no.
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
You. There's always seems to be a little bit of a delay, so we apologize. We want to make sure that we kind of get your feedback.
Any other questions? So the auto numbering mask for a BPA call will be exactly the same.
Let's repeat the question just so that we.
Okay. Yes.
Fred, you asked.
Or hold on. The question is from David. We'll get to yours in a second, Fred. So the question is, can you show the auto numbering mask for a BPA call? So for every award type, or really every document that is created within PRISM, it will be exactly the same process. So for a BPA call itself, it will be the same as what you see in PRISM today. It will be the BPA setup / the BPA call number. And if you have it, if you're creating a BPA call off of a legacy, so what we're referring to in a legacy document is anything prior to the 7.3 upgrade. So anytime before 2019 fiscal year, that is considered a legacy document. So you would have a legacy number from, say, it would be something like the HHSN number / the new UPID numbering. So that will be the same throughout all of PRISM.
David, did we answer your question? Fred, we'll get back to you in 2 seconds. We just want to make sure that we've answered David's question.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks, David.
So
now we'll go to Fred.
Okay, so Fred, we will cover your, okay, so Fred's first question, do you have an example of a modified award number? So the mod numbering will be slightly different than what you see in today's world. They will now have a P number in front, or a P and then the number. So it's going to be P, and then say you're on mod number 2. So it's going to be P00002. And then if you have a document that has legacy mods, and say there are 3 legacy mods on this contract, and you're creating a brand new 4th mod. So therefore it will be P00004.
Fred, does that answer your question?
Okay. And then we had one.
They're well said.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, Christine now asked, and hold on, Christine, you've got 2 questions, so we'll go back up. David, you asked, can I still create awards directly from a requisition?
Yes. So you are still able to directly create awards from our requisitions with the exception of a DOTO, and that is also happening in 7.2. So no actions are different than what you have in 7.2.
Christine asked, is this number also assigned for orders that are micro purchase value? Sometimes we do PRISM for orders that are below MPT.
Yes, so the numbering will be the same no matter, or for any document that is created within PRISM itself.
Vern, you're asking that while we answer the questions, can we show the response in the live demonstration?
So some of these might take me longer than to create, but I will try to show you examples.
So we're going to move out of the presentation and move back into PRISM. Give us 2 seconds.
Okay, going into PRISM. Okay.
Now, do you realize that while we're going into PRISM, for some of these instances, we might not see your chat responses. So we'll go back and forth. Okay, we do apologize for the clunky nature of things, but let's go through the BPA call one.
Yes. So give me 1 second. I'm actually going to sign out as this user and sign in as myself, just because I might have some fun documents to play with there.
Basically, Morgan's telling me that I'm not fun.
It's an interesting time.
We can have fun while we're in the training, guys. We know we can't hear your laughter.
Okay, so I'm actually, let me go hunt down a BPA call that I recently created. So I know there are a bunch of different ways to create these. This is just out of my habit how I create documents. So you are now entering into my world of PRISM. I know it's not reality, but it's mine, so I enjoy it. So going to let PRISM wait. Sorry about that. I have created a few hundred to a few thousand documents within PRISM in the last few weeks, so the system may be a little slow.
While we're doing that, I'm going to try to see if I can open the chat box on the side, just to see if we've got any other questions. Okay.
So while we are waiting for this to load, I'm going to actually open up another PRISM session. And I'm going to sign in as a different user. You will never do this, but my fun time. Okay, so now I'm going to go in as a different user. Just so we can, while the other page is loading, I can show you what's happening with the mods. So I'm going to go into, say, this purchase order right here. I'm going to click this, and I'm going to create a mod on this. So I'm just going to go over here. You can either modify or create modification here or modify. Out of habit, I just click modify up here. So I'm going to, so this is slightly different than what you would see because we are in the system as a system admin. So I'm just going to say, I just want to do a funding only action. And the award procuring office, so this is the mod version. So it's just P number. It's either called a P mod or it's also known as a POO mod, who you want to ask. So here we have the base version, we have mod 1 and mod 2. So you see here, this is the mod number. And just like before, I'm unable to release mod number 2 because mod number 1 is in progress. So now I'm going to go to the other, and hopefully, nope, it did not.
Okay.
Let's see if on Julie's thing she had. Any BPA calls. Here is a prime example, just so we can get a visualization of the numbering. So this is a new BPA setup here, and the new BPA call number here. Just as a simple, fast example.
Now, before we move forward, we've got one more question. And Fred asked A for admin only.
Right. So normally it's P and A mods, but it was made a decision from the business practice perspective that there will only be P mods within PRISM. That was directed to us from
OALM, the business owner. So at which point we, again, we will provide you with the training document so that you can see these things, but at which point some of that information has not been updated and or changed. We will make sure that you guys have all of the information and updates that you need. We do have one more question that came in from David.
So the question is, once an award passes PRISM and Oracle validations, is there still any chance the system will still disapprove it? Yes, there is a chance. It is just less likely to. David, does this answer your question? Perfect.
Okay. We really do thank you guys for participating with us with the questions. Again, keep them coming. We're going to go back into the presentation, and we're going to touch on one more area of major importance for PRISM. 2 seconds as we kind of modify our screens and get everything back to normal. Okay. So now we're going to talk about the PRISM system defects. So we know today that there are 2 known system defects within PRISM. NBS is working with the software vendor who, again, I will stress, is Morgan. Morgan works with CompuSearch, and this is the vendor that actually works with NIH with PRISM. So they will identify the root cause to resolve the issue, at which point what typically happens is they resolve the issue, send that information through, and NBS CM will provide an alert with an update on that issue so that you know what's occurring with that particular defect. So what we know today is that, number 1, the delivery order and task order cannot be selected on the create dropdown in requisition. We know that this is a current system defect from 7.2. It originated in 7.2 and it still has not been resolved with the 7.3 upgrade. So you guys will continue to use the workaround that was put in place in 7.2 within PRISM 7.3. 2 is the search button on the funding tab. There is a random search button located on the funding tab. We are alerting you guys so that you don't time out within the system. The button looks like a magnifying glass. It does not have a function to search or do anything. It's just randomly on the page. So we're actually going to go into the system and show you the search button feature. We will get back to the question in 2 seconds, okay?
Okay. So going to go back into the system here. Let's see which one. Let's go here. So I'm actually going to go home here. Then I'm going to go into, let's say, this document, or let me find one that I have way too many documents on my thing. Let me find an in-progress one. So let's say, let's find out if this DOTO has a line on it. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to one of the items. I'm going to click in. Going to go to the funding tab right now. And you see this magnifying glass right here? We have nicknamed it the rogue magnifying glass. Do not click it. It does nothing. It will just time out, and you'll have to log and close all of Internet Explorer on that happy time of when you have to sign back into PRISM. So just do not click it. Just don't. Please don't.
So now we want to go back to the questions. So Jose, you said, are external GSA documents keeping their same numbering structure?
Yes, they are, I believe so. But it's based off of where you get those documents from and your business practice. I don't know exactly since I'm not familiar with those documents themselves.
But Jose, if there's, if we didn't answer your question appropriately, and let us know if we did, if we need to go back and get some additional information from a business practice perspective, then we will do the best that we can. But if it is based on your business practice within your IC, we may not be able to answer that question directly. So Christine asked, will there be updated NAVs for us to reference these features within the process? No. So that you guys are aware, the NAVs will not be updated. You will not be using UPKs for PRISM 7.3. It's my understanding that they are moving away from the software vendor that was providing that service. So when we came to PRISM 7.3, we had training documents with tip sheets, and that's what we will actually reference and go through after this. Those tip sheets can actually be printed and saved at your desk in order to be able to provide you with guidance on how to reference these specific instructions, features, updates, and system defects. Christine, did we answer your question? We're going to go back into the presentation really quick, and we're going to walk through the supporting document so that you guys can see exactly what it is that we are offering, since NAVs are no longer available for 7.3 at this time or at the time of go live. So training support materials are designed to help you as a helpful tool when you're at your desk. They will be up on the MBS portal. They will be up on the MBS portal longer than 3 months. We do have 3 months because at the time we did not have a time frame when we created this presentation, so we do apologize for that mishap. And they're also located on quick links inside of PRISM. So instead of you having to leave PRISM and go to the MBS portal, you will actually be able to access them inside of PRISM 7.3. The vendor will make updates from time to time, so we just ask that you always have the latest updated information. Our tip sheets actually have an update date on them, and I will show that to you, so you'll know exactly where to look to find that information to make sure that you have the latest version. If you have any additional questions about the training support materials, you can email us. Now let me show you exactly where to find these. So essentially on the acquisition portal, you will find these in the PRISM 7.3 upgrade portlet. They are presently there now, and I'm going to leave our presentation and show you after I get to the quick links, just so that you can see the actual documents themselves. In addition, they are on the PRISM homepage. So where the quick links are located on the right-hand side, you will see the 7.2 to 7.3 comparison document, and you will also see the 7.3 system defects. We do know that the language here may very well change once you open PRISM and the system comes back up, but they will likely be the first 2 quick links documents, and they will be referenced 7.2 and 7.3. So, Fred, we'll get to your question in just 2 seconds. We're going to leave here, and I'm going to take you on the back end so that you can see. And Fred, if I saw your question, you asked about payment search feature. What is payment search? We only used Oracle to find payment information previously. Yes, so I'm glad you asked that question. Here we go. We're doing a PRISM 7.2 to 7.3 comparison document so that you guys can see here. I'm going to actually enlarge this because it really does speak to exactly what Fred mentioned a few moments ago. In this comparison document, it provides you with what occurred in 7.2 and what now occurs in 7.3. You see on the side, these are your system updates. Okay, so it says, just to give you a reference, there were a number of NIH-identified defects within the system that created workarounds for the acquisition community. We didn't provide the actual number. However, in 7.3, there are 2 known remaining defects after remediating 18 system defects within the PRISM 7.3 upgrade. NBS continues to work with the software vendor to identify the root cause to resolve the issue, but these are the 2 issues, and we just went through those during this presentation. Let's talk payment search feature, okay? In PRISM 7.2, the payment search feature was provided automatically on the payment search page. In 7.3, it requires that you click search to update the payment search feature on the payment search page. We go through every single thing that is different in 7.2 with 7.2 to 7.3 and the differences between the 2 so that you guys know and have specific reference to them. This document is a one-sheeter tip sheet. It can be downloaded and printed so that you have it at your desk, can share with colleagues, and have it ready for meetings if, in fact, you need to reference any specific details about PRISM 7.2 to 7.3. We're also going to go back into the acquisition portal, and here we're going to click on the training support document. We'll deal with your questions in just 2 seconds. Just let us get through this so you guys can see. So we've provided just a basic cover sheet here so that you know exactly what to find within this document, and we will continue to be updating these during Go Live so that you guys have the information. Again, your system defects, there are 2 known defects. What are those 2 known defects? The DOTO, the search button feature on the funding tab. Then we go into the PRISM upgrade features where we covered those. I'm sorry for your eyes, going too fast. But Data Reporting Act, what to expect. Again, this field must be completed on all new base and all modification actions at PRISM 7.3. Again, we go through PIN documents, multiple uploads where you have the opportunity to upload 99 documents at once, and the navigator icon change. We even go into the specifics as far as identifying on the 3rd document the system updates so that you specifically see these are the updates that occurred. I'm sorry, guys. These are the updates that occurred. Let me get back to the document. Those are the features. Here are the updates. These are the updates that occurred. So again, we go through number 1, payment search, addressing Fred's question. Do you put auto numbering mask, which we covered in the training, contract auto numbering mask, which we covered today in the training, closing the DOTO, validations, which we covered in the training, award modification selection, and default standard form. This information is going to be extremely helpful to you guys as you are going through and navigating the system. In order to be able to find them at this time, before System Go Live, you can find them, on the NBS portal, and then they will be on the back end. Now we're going to flip into your questions really quick, and I'm going to scroll up just to make sure that we've addressed all of them. Can you send us the sheets to print out for your desk? Yes, I am really interested in the go-around. So, Christine, you can find these on the NBS portal. If you go to that NBS portal right now, they are there. So you guys can print them out. What is payment search? Fred is asking, what is payment search when we only have Oracle to find payment information previously? Again, we addressed that, Fred, and I hope that we did. And being able to address that question, we're going line by line, so we'll go through again and make sure that we've covered that. How sad, no NAVs. I learned using NAVs, and will they create them with new contractors? Christine, we don't have an answer to that question. All we know at this particular time as it relates to the NAVs is it's not a contractor-based entity. Our understanding is that the software vendor that they are currently using is going away. They are no longer covering NAVs. So they are choosing to not use NAVs for 7.3 and use tip sheets. So that's the information that we have today. I'm certain that in the future you may hear some additional information about the NAVs. The overall information from the community about the NAVs was not super positive, but we do realize everybody learns at their pace and utilizes navigations as they choose. Again, you can check back. I believe that Al and team that covered the NAVs did address PRISM 7.3. I don't have that information today. If I do find out that information, I'll make sure to get that out to the community. Fred, you asked, you must be talking about where you choose prompt payment terms.
And that would be correct.
Okay. Lynn, you asked, please demonstrate document upload. Lynn, we're not covering that in this training. It will be covered in our brown bags, and we'll go through that. David, any update on MBS, on when MBS will be back online? From the information that we have today, we are looking to be back up by next week. Okay? So what I'm going to do now, guys, because I want you guys, some of the information that you've asked for, we've kind of jumped ahead, and some of your questions, which is great. I don't want you guys to feel like we can't answer the questions. We are here for that. But I do want to get back into the presentation and show you where we are for next steps. Because I think this will be very helpful in you kind of understanding we're not just offering one training. So we're going to skip through the questions because we're answering those as we go along. We will be conducting training brown bag sessions. Those training brown bag sessions we have already identified, and we'll be sending that information out to you guys this week. So when we finish the training by tomorrow, you guys will receive an invitation to attend the brown bag training session. Those will also include CLP credits. Okay, so check your email for the dates and times of those brown bag sessions. Okay, we will be discovering topic by topic. The only caveat about the brown bag sessions is that we really truly want you to go into the system once the system is back online and perform your day-to-day tasks so that essentially this is where your questions are going to come from for the brown bag. As you have questions about the system, we are asking you to email those questions to us at PRISM, at the PRISM 7.3 upgrade email address, so that we can actually prepare for the brown bags, because we will be doing live scenarios in the system during that training session. So everything that we will cover will be specifically a live scenario inside of PRISM so that you guys are able to see, pretty much like we did here. We encourage you to send your questions in advance so that we know how to answer them in a timely fashion. For our brown bags, we will only have an hour. So we definitely want to make sure that we're able to get those questions answered as soon as possible. The only reason why we're having people register, because this is a question that a lot of people had, we need to capture your CLP hours, and the only way that we could have done that is through you registering so that we can capture the information and the attendees. Okay, so I do realize that it has been an overhaul for some of you when it came to WebEx, because this is a new way that we are doing training. But we really ask you to just work with us on this because we are offering CLP credits, and that was the rationale behind the registration and the use of WebEx. So before we get into our last slide, I do want to open the floor one more time for questions to make sure that you guys kind of understand we won't just be offering the training right now. This training course was to cover a very broad stroke of what to expect in 7.3. The tip sheets are to provide you with a deeper understanding of specific items as related from 7.2 to 7.3. And then our brown bags will allow us to build scenarios based on the questions that you guys have from the community once you are able to be inside of the system. Now, before I move on and close the session, I do want to ask, do you guys feel comfortable in the fact that we've been able to answer your questions about, you know, PRISM, some of the features, updates, and information, as well as the brown bags and the training tip sheets? You can feel free to just type in your responses. I don't see anything within the chat, so Okay. Okay, Christine, thank you. We really appreciate that. Fred, thank you. Kimberly, thank you. Okay. Yes, we definitely want to make sure, and Fred, we want to address that first session, okay? You know, we feel very bad about having those technical difficulties on our very first session. We have ironed out all the kinks, so we appreciate the feedback on this. Being that that is the case, we are really going to ask that you guys take the survey because we were able to improve the training and answer specific questions in each session based off of the information that we received in the survey. I went through each one of the survey responses on how we could improve the training, and I also looked at things that you guys wanted within the training and made sure that we adopted and those things and added them to the training as we went along. So again, you know, please take the time to take the survey. It's really super important. We will be sending it out after this session via email. It literally takes 3 minutes to complete 10 questions. Most of them are, you know, a strongly agree, disagree, you know, a click and keep it moving. So your feedback is truly important to us. We will ask one more time, though, if you guys have questions, any additional questions or feedback that you want to provide, please do not hesitate to send it to us via email at prism7.3upgrade@od.nih.gov. For those of you who are on the line, and I'm going to point you out, so don't think that I'm calling you out specifically. I'm opening the chat just to let you know. Tina, thank you for getting me the information in regards to your ability to register and train, okay? Kimberly, I'll answer your question in just 2 seconds. Christine, I'm glad that we were able to resolve the issues that were had with WebEx and that you were able to join the session. I want you guys to know because Christine had an issue, I ended up opening the session for people to continue to register up until 5 minutes before the training. So we wanted to make sure, again, our job is to make sure that everybody has the information that they need so that you are comfortable whenever you go into the system. Kimberly, you will not be receiving a copy of the slides. The slides will be, the slides were developed from the tip sheets that we just showed you. Everything in the tip sheets was regurgitated and moved into a different format in PowerPoint. So I hope that answers your question. We really do want to stress to you guys and really get you guys to understand, go to the NBS portal, please. Download the sheets. Become very familiar with the information. Print the sheets out and keep them at your desk because it's going to be really important to have them whenever you are in the system next week when it comes back up so that you have that right at your desk. We will update the sheets and make sure that the sheets have the latest information. Let me do too, yes, thank you, Christine. They will be up on the portal by then. But before we close, guys, let me come out of the presentation, and I'm going to show you exactly what to look for whenever you are looking at this document for the latest version, okay? So when we go to the comparison document, I'm trying to increase it so that we can see the update information. Right here, it says that it was updated September 2018. We are now in October. We've had some changes within the system as we begin to test and get ready for go live. So we will make sure that you guys have the latest updated version, and we will send an email out when these versions have been updated. And you will see that it will likely say updated, and I'm going to increase it just a little bit more so you guys can see on the side here, where it says updated September 2018, it will now say updated October 2018, and it will likely include a date that it was updated. Again, we will stress to you guys, please, please, please make sure that you have the latest updated version, okay? Because again, right here, we did realize last week in PRISM 7.3, you will have the option to choose between a PMOD or an AMOD. That is incorrect. You will only have the opportunity to choose between you won't have a choice. It will be a PMOD, but that decision was made after these went online. So we were not able to make the changes immediately. We will make sure by go live that these are the changes, but we would be remiss if we did not get you something so that you had an opportunity to see the comparison. So we kind of had to make sure that that happened. We do apologize that these are not the most updated versions that we have today, but again, we are still testing the system to make sure that everything is in place for you guys by go live, okay? So I hope that that helps and that you guys understand we're doing everything that we can to make sure that you have what you need. Before we close out this session, do you guys have any additional questions for us? You can type no. We appreciate that too. Okay. Thank you guys. We really do appreciate your time during the session. Again, we will stress to you that if you have questions, please don't hesitate to send us an email or whatever. We will respond. I'm typically the one that's on the back end responding. Please be patient with me. We have 894 users, okay? We have a system that is also going live next week. We have tip sheets that need to be updated. I am one person, but I promise I will get back to you as soon as I can with an answer that helps and might be brief because that means I'm in the middle of something else or somebody's pulling me in another direction, but I will respond, okay? Thank you very much for your time, you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. We're going to close the session at this time. You're welcome, guys. Have a good day.
Have a good one, everyone.